How many business books have you started and never finished? The truth is, most of them promise the world but deliver the same tired advice rehashed over 300 pages. But there are a few that genuinely shift how you see entrepreneurship, strategy, and making money. And today, we're looking at 5 of them. Let's start with The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. If you've ever wondered why some startups fail while others succeed with seemingly less resources, this book answers that question directly. The author's core argument is that most entrepreneurs spend months or years building a product in secret, only to launch and discover nobody wants it. The Lean Startup flips that approach on its head. Instead of building in isolation, Ries advocates for a method called validated learning. You build a minimum viable product, launch it fast, measure real user feedback, and then pivot or persist based on data, not gut feeling. The book introduces the feedback loop of build, measure, learn. This isn't just theory. Real founders have used this framework to save hundreds of thousands in wasted development. The surprising part is that this approach works whether you're a 2-person team or launching inside an existing corporation. Readers often say this book rewired how they think about risk and testing ideas. It's essential for anyone starting a business or anyone in a company tasked with launching new products. Next is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This one isn't marketed as a business book, but it fundamentally explains why people make the decisions they do with money. Kahneman, a Nobel Prize winner in economics, breaks down how our brains operate in 2 systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and logical. Most of us think we're System 2 thinkers. We're not. We're mostly System 1, and we're terrible at math, probability, and long-term thinking. The book explains cognitive biases like anchoring, availability bias, and overconfidence. In business, this matters enormously. If you understand that people are anchored to the first number they hear in a negotiation, you'll negotiate differently. If you know that loss aversion makes people avoid risk more than they pursue gain, you'll market differently. Entrepreneurs who read this book consistently report making better hiring decisions, better pricing decisions, and better strategic decisions. It's dense, but it's genuinely transformative. Then there's 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. If you want to understand how to build something that genuinely doesn't exist yet, this is it. Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and an early Facebook investor, argues that there is a massive difference between horizontal progress, which is copying what works, and vertical progress, which is creating something new. He calls vertical progress going from 0 to 1. The book challenges conventional wisdom at every turn. Thiel argues that competition is overrated, that monopolies are often good, and that much of Silicon Valley's received wisdom is backward. He introduces the concept of the power law. This is the idea that the best company in a given category is often worth more than the next 10 combined. This changes how you think about startups. If you're starting a company, aiming to be number 5 in a crowded market is a waste of time. You should aim to own your own category. The book is short, argumentative, and memorable. It's perfect for founders who want to think differently. 4th is Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rumelt. Most people use the word strategy when they mean tactics or goals. Rumelt, a legendary business strategist, clarifies what real strategy actually is. Bad strategy sounds good, but offers no real direction. It's full of buzzwords and aspirations. Good strategy, on the other hand, is built on a clear understanding of the challenge, a logical diagnosis of what's really happening, and a coherent set of actions designed to overcome that specific challenge. Rumelt walks through real examples. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he didn't have a 50-point strategic plan. He made one clear diagnosis. Apple was making too many products for too many customers, and the company had lost its identity. His strategic action was brutal simplification. This clarity changed everything. The book teaches you to ask hard questions before you act. What is the real problem? Why haven't others solved it? What is our actual advantage? Executives who read this book often report their companies become more focused and more effective. It's not flashy, but it's the book that teaches you to think like a real strategist, not a businessman. Finally, there's The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen. This book answers a question that seems paradoxical. Why do successful companies fail? Christensen studied the hard disk drive industry and found a pattern. Companies that led their market with the best products often went bankrupt when new technology emerged. The reason wasn't that they were asleep at the wheel. It was that their success was the problem. Their best customers wanted incremental improvements. Disruptive technology served worse customers first. By the time market leaders realized what was happening, it was too late. Christensen introduces the concept of disruptive innovation. It's not about being more innovative. It's about a specific kind of innovation that starts in a niche, seems inferior to established products, but eventually displaces them because it's cheaper, simpler, or more convenient. Netflix disrupted Blockbuster this way. Smartphones disrupted desktop computers this way. If you lead a company or work in one, this book forces you to ask terrifying questions. What disruption is coming for us? Where are we vulnerable? The book is especially relevant in 2024 because AI is creating exactly this kind of disruption in dozens of industries. So what ties these 5 books together? They're all fundamentally about clarity. The Lean Startup gives you clarity through data. Thinking, Fast and Slow gives you clarity about human psychology. 0 to 1 gives you clarity about what real innovation looks like. Good Strategy, Bad Strategy gives you clarity about actual strategic thinking. And The Innovator's Dilemma gives you clarity about the future. If you're building something, working at a company, or trying to make better decisions with money, at least one of these books will change how you think. Start with whichever problem feels most urgent to you right now. And if you want detailed lists and links to these books, you'll find them in the description below. Thanks for watching.